What AC-TACT is basically a preventative approach to targeted violence. So about 3 years ago, we started to put this together. Then we got hit with COVID like the rest of the world, and we had to put it on the back burner. And then about a year ago, the governor came out with an executive order looking for policies on domestic terrorism, racism, things like that. So we're like, well, this is right in our wheelhouse, but let's take it to a whole new level. So we hit that threshold, and then we created AC-TACT. And what this is basically, it's entities that always acted in a silo. Probation, social services, law enforcement, educators, everybody that didn't think we could communicate with each other, or there were barriers there by laws and statutes. So what we're doing is taking out those silos. We're all coming in together on a coordinated team effort at the table. And again, this isn't like a snitch line or anything like that. What we want to do is prevent targeted violence. Prevent that individual that may have been fired from his job and now is sitting home stewing and starting to have violent ideations of homicide or even suicide. And when somebody sees that, we want them to go back to a few years back where they created See Something, Say Something. Come to us. Call your pastor. Call anybody. We have faith-based organizations, educators, secondary school educators, law enforcement, federal, state, local, you name it, we have them involved in this. And I think that was evident by the press conference we had. We had all sorts of faith-based organizations, and everybody can go back and represent their individual house of worship or secondary school or YMCA or whatever the case may be. Maybe there's a boy that's doing his homework drawing AK-47s on his homework. Obviously something's inappropriate there. So we want that teacher at that point to talk to her supervisor and call us and come and present it. We don't want the case. We want the information so we can all sit at the table and say, hey, we've got an individual here, comes from a dysfunctional family, he's depressed, let's off-ramp that. If he's on the highway to violence, we want to off-ramp him.
And when people do call you with one of these incidents or something that is of concern, what is the next step there?
So they'll contact us. We'll start to do our homework. We'll do some background information. We may look at some social media sites, whatever, see if there's any crazy postings, some dark postings, and then all sit down at the table. Social services, child protective, maybe adult protective, again, pastors, ministers, educators, law enforcement. We'll all sit there, and mental health, of course, and we'll sit there and we'll look at this and like, what can we do to help this family? What can we do to help this child? What can we do to help this elderly individual? Maybe he's depressed, he's been home. COVID did a lot of damage to a lot of people. It isolated them. So there's a lot of people out there suffering from mental health illness. The bottom line, Stephanie, we want to prevent violence. We want to keep our communities safe. We want safe streets. We want safe homes. We want safe playgrounds. And I think with this coordinated effort, we can in fact do that with everybody chipping in.
Now, for people who are watching at home, for businesses even that are watching at home, how can they get involved? You have 30 entities involved at this point, but what can they do? So
they can reach out. All we simply want them to do is go, if we see something, say something. Let us be the one who can go through it and go, we don't think that's a threat, or that is a threat. Nothing is not important to us. Call us with everything. We have email addresses, we have phone numbers, contact us. We have a team dedicated to this, and all these other individuals are people that, again, want a safe community, and they want to partner with us. They're not getting paid to do this. They want to volunteer. They want safe communities.
And the hope is, of course, a safer Albany County.
That's right.
The dream.
Well, and then again, we're taking it a step further. Our contiguous counties are all doing something similar. Our goal is to get it stretched right across the state and right down and north of us. And then we can all communicate together. Because there's been too many silos, too many isolated incidents of violence where, gosh, I knew that kid wasn't right, but nobody did anything.